Welcome back to NY Flight Jets Talk. In this video, we will be breaking down the top 7 players for the Jets to target in the draft. So that's a mix of a bunch of players from all different colleges, and these are the top 7 guys I think if they're on the board, the Jets should not trade back. So we're going to go 7 to 1. These are the top 7 guys I think the Jets should target, the blue chippers, so to speak. All right, number 7. Wide receiver Keon Coleman from Florida State, standing 6'4", 215 pounds. He has 50 receptions, 658 yards, and 11 touchdowns. This guy is just a freak of nature. Some compare him to OBJ with the crazy catches he can make. Huge guy, 6'4", obviously 50 receptions, 658 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Those are very, very, very solid numbers. I think Keon Coleman might be a little bit of a reach where we are sitting in the order right now, but I think he's a very, very talented wide receiver, and whatever team gets him, they are going to be thrilled. He is just a freak of nature, solid wide receiver out of FSU. Obviously, with Jordan Travis down, he showed that he could work with other quarterbacks and still manage to play well and win close football games. All right, number 6, Rome O'Dunes, standing 6'3", 215 pounds out of Washington. You saw the game the other day, Longhorns versus Huskies. He is just crazy good. I mean, obviously he has Michael Penix as his quarterback, but 87 receptions, 1,553 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Those are just crazy numbers. He dusts cornerbacks. He makes crazy catches. This guy is just a talented wide receiver. We could use him in the red zone. Him and Garrett Wilson, I think, would be a nasty 1-2 punch for those wide receivers. And maybe we bring in a T. Higgins and Mike Evans also, even if we draft O'Dunes. And that 1-2-3 core would just be incredible. O'Dunes, very, very talented wide receiver out of Washington. I think he's going to go in the top 10, top 12. Very, very talented wide receiver. He's definitely going to have a very successful career in the NFL. All right. Before we get to number 5, I know I've said on not just my live streams, but other live streams. I don't know if you guys see me. I'm on the Jake Asman show. I was on Boy Green Daily a couple mornings ago. I've said, and Jets Talk 24/7, Matt O'Leary, obviously those guys. I've said several times I don't want this player, but I've dug deep. I've looked at a ton of film on this player. He is just a generational talent. So here he is. The number 5 on the list, tight end Brock Bowers out of Georgia. This tight end room would just be stacked if we added Bowers to this tight end room. I mean, I look at him as a faster and better pass catcher than Tyler Conklin. He reminds me of Travis Kelce, but they also use him as a fullback and in the screen game. He is just explosive, standing 6'4", 240 pounds, 56 receptions, 714 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Those are crazy numbers for a tight end out of Georgia, and obviously he had a new quarterback this season with Stetson Bennett finally entering the draft and going to the Rams. I don't know if he's still in the Rams right now. I saw some rumblings of him being cut possibly. So Brock Bowers, though, solid generational talent at that tight end position. I would take a shot at him at wherever we stand in the order. The worst we can get is 12 and the highest we can get is 6. So solid tight end out of Georgia. All right, number 4, Malik Nabers. 6', 200 pounds out of LSU, 89 receptions, 1,569 yards, and 14 touchdowns. The only thing that I'm worried about with Nabers is his size profile. That's the only thing that I'm worried about with Nabers. Other than that, he is an incredible red zone target, crazy good catches. Obviously, you see he's a solid red zone target. He has 14 touchdowns on the year. Very, very, very strong overall wide receiver. Again, can dust cornerbacks, make players miss. He's a very, very, very talented wide receiver out of LSU. I would love to. I mean, we're lucky if he's available when it comes to our pick, but Very solid wide receiver. Love that. Love him. Great player. Only thing that worries me about him is his size profile. That's it. All right, the top three. And number three, Tyrese Fuega, standing 6'6", 325 pounds out of Oregon State. In 2023, he allowed zero sacks and 8 pressures. Only 8 pressures. 0 sacks and 8 pressures allowed in 2023. So Tyrese Fuega, standing at 6'6", 325 pounds. He's a very athletic man. I think he's going to have a solid NFL career. I would take him if Alt or Fashanu are off the board, but if Alt or Fashanu are on the board, I'm going to take them. But if they're both off, Fuega is a solid option to go to. I'm a big Tyrese Fuega fan. Really like him. Solid left tackle out of Oregon State. The only thing I don't like about him is he never played right tackle in his career at Oregon State, let alone the 2 guard positions in center. So I think he's very solid left tackle. The only thing I don't like about him is his depth, so to speak. All right, number 2, Joe Alt. Standing 6'8", 322 pounds out of Notre Dame. 2023, he allowed 1 sack and 4 pressures. I know Fuega didn't allow a sack, but he had 8 pressures. Alt had 1 sack and 4 pressures. Those are remarkable numbers. Joe Alt, some compare him to Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was obviously a Hall of Famer, very good player. Joe Alt is a solid tackle out of Notre Dame. In my opinion, he can be generational. He is such a solid tackle. This tackle class in 2024 is such a deep tackle class. I mean, all these guys are very solid players, but Joe Alt, number 2 on my list, would love to bring Joe Alt in to join the 2024 New York Jets. Drum roll, please. At number 1, we have none other than the man himself, Mr. Olu Fashanu, standing 6'6", 317 pounds out of Penn State. He got 11 pressures and 0 sacks. 11 pressures, it doesn't concern me. It's fine. 0 sacks, though. This man is just a brick wall. Besides him having 11 pressures this season, this man is just a brick wall. Super athletic player, 6'6", 317 pounds, can play both tackle positions. I mean, 11 pressures, 0 sacks. He got injured at the end of 2022 and then came back and had a solid 2023 season. Joe Alt, if they're both on the board, which I seem is very unlikely, I'm taking Olu, but one or the other I'd love to have. And obviously, if they're both off the board, we have Fuega, and God forbid they're all 3 off the board, which I find very unlikely. We have Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, O'Dunes. I think Coleman's a little bit of a reach at 8. I see the Jets finishing with the seventh overall pick. That's just my prediction, though. I think Coleman's going to be a little bit of a reach, but O'Dunes I see going into the top 10, top 12. Bowers is definitely going to be a top 10 pick. Fuega might not be a top 10 pick, but he's going to be the 3rd best tackle. Neighbors is going to be top 10. Then Alt or Fashanu are possibly going to be top 5. So tell me how you guys think I did in the comments. I thought that was a pretty solid mock draft. Realistically, obviously, we're all going to sit here and say we want Marvin Harrison, but realistically, he's not going to be at whatever pick we're sitting at. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.